women are given leniency regarding pedophilia. If you look up any child predator related crime online, particularly ones regarding a teacher molesting a student, the article will always label the article as male teacher molests/rapes female student. But if the pedo teacher is a female and the victim is a male, the article will always say predator teacher makes love or has inappropriate sexual conduct with young student. They never put the word rape or molest if the predator is a female and the student is a male. And female predators face shorter prison sentences than male predators. That's right, just like I said in that video, and I was right again, as always. We're going to be talking about the issue that nobody ever wants to talk about. Female pedophiles molesting their students. Everybody thinks that, oh, girls are always innocent and all this shit and blah, 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 blah. Only men are pedophiles, and only men are rapists, the whole deal. Well, we're going to look at several cases that have happened over the years. This is not all of them, there's many more, of course. But it's just to give you an idea of just how many boys are actually molested by adult teachers, female teachers. And before I even talk about the problem at hand, I want to mention that this is actually, the reason why this is a bigger issue than other issues that men face is because it's an issue that's actually supported. Seriously. Even though it's generally the feminists who only believe in female supremacy, and it's the MRA who actually believe in equality, the amount of men who would look at cases like these and say, "Congratulations, man! Haha, you got her!" is actually sickening and horrifying. In fact, I think a lot of these people are aware that it's horrifying. They have this mentality that boys like sex so much that they wouldn't even consider it molestation, even though it actually is. And they would actually go up to their friends who have been abused by a female and give them a high five, which does multiple problems. Number one, it trivializes the actual problem, of course. Two, it lets the pedophile teachers do whatever they want without any consequence. Granted, we do know that women in general don't face consequences for their actions, not just pedophilia, but multiple things, such as false rape accusations and many other things as well. But this only opens up the door to do whatever they want without consequence even wider. And of course, more importantly, it only adds to the growing list of reasons as to why boys or whatever are afraid to come forward. And I think a lot of the people who would be like, haha, yeah man, good job, are actually supporting this but are aware that they're wrong to support it, is because they'll say things like young man. They never use the term young boy, because I think that they know if they did, they would see how disgusting it is. So they never say young boy, they always say young man or something like that, or young guy, because they know. Anyway, here's a few examples. We're going to go in rapid fire. Teacher locked up for sex with 13-year-old student, taught fellow inmates. How about this one? Texas teacher impregnated by student. She literally got pregnant by her 14-year-old student. Or there's this one. Teacher who asked for a lenient sentence because 8th grader was willing participant. I guess we're going to ignore the fact that even though the younger person might be okay with it at first because they don't understand what's going on, will later not be okay. But I guess this logic only applies to female victims. Of course, no surprise there, right? Anyway, Stephanie Peterson, another pedophile who she had sex with a 14-year-old boy. By the way, I am saying sex like that for a reason. Keep that theme in mind as we're going through these articles. Special education teacher in Philly charged with having sex with 8th grade student. Here's another one. Ex-prep school coach admits pressuring teen boy for sex. What was their name? Feeney something, who cares? Next, alleged sex victim of teacher assistant. She bought me things. Amazing. Parents outraged over a light sentence for a Louisiana substitute teacher who had sex with her students. How about this one? Teacher who drunkenly had sex with students and claims she didn't remember it avoids jail time. Of course she did. Now, Pop quiz! If this was a man who molested one of their students, would he avoid jail time? The answer is no, he wouldn't. Florida teacher accused of having sex with teen several hundred times. How lovely. Look at her. How about this one? Laura Lynn Cross, ex-high school teacher, 37, had a baby with teenage student who lived in her house. Wonderful. Next, this wonderful woman. Little Miss Twisted, female teacher, 37, admits to having her 14-year-old pupil's baby after grooming him in Twisted 3-year affair. Oh my god. How about this one? Julia Vickerman, the creator of Netflix's 12 Forever, a show where a girl uses her dream of power to be 12 forever. Of course you'd want that. Has been brought to attention now that old posts of her admitting to being a pedophile attached with her fantasies have surfaced. Lovely. How about this woman? Business teacher, 49, sent nude pics and X-rated Snapchats to her teen boy student who told his mom they were in love. Of course, Karen here probably had 18 divorces, so she resorted to molesting a child. Former teacher pleads guilty to molesting 14-year-old girl. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? Did you notice that every single article kept saying had sex, had sex, had sex, had sex, and now all of a sudden that the victim is a girl, the word molesting comes up. Just like I said from my male oppression video, as you saw at the beginning of this video, I was right. This is what always happens. This is what always happens. If a female adult molests a teen boy, it's always called has sex, makes love, or has relations, or whatever. They will use any word to avoid using words like rape or molest. Because our society just doesn't want to admit, ever, that a teen boy can be molested by an adult female. Our society wants to avoid this at all costs, to always make it appear as if the woman is some great stand-up citizen who just, at worst, made a mistake. But because the victim was a girl, all of a sudden we can use the word molest. And the same thing goes with not just the victim, but also the attacker's gender. If the pedophile is a man, and he molests a girl or a boy, it doesn't matter which one, as long as the pedophile is a guy, they will be perfectly fine using the word rape or molest. But for a woman, the victim has to be a girl for them to use the word molest or rape. Isn't our society just fucking wonderful? You know, and just like the list I gave earlier of how these things affect teen boys and nobody wants to admit to it, this is yet another reason. Because the teen boys are always basically just told, what's the big deal? You got something out of it. Didn't it feel good? Didn't you enjoy it? Blah, blah, blah. You weren't molested. You just had sex. What's the big deal? And the teen boy probably is happy at the time, but doesn't realize what happened until later. But by that point, the damage has been done and society doesn't care. Now let's go to one of the more recent stories. This is July 2nd of this year. Full from grace, inside life of Glamourous Harris. Okay, what the fuck, Glamourous? This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. They can never just admit that the woman is a fucking pedophile. In fact, not only will they not admit to it, but they'll even glamorize her. What's the big deal? The pedophile was attractive. What's the big deal? As long as she looks good and you felt good, what's the big deal? You were molested by a beautiful woman who considered you attractive enough to rape you. Oh, sorry, have sex with you. Therefore, nothing bad happened to you. Again, do you honestly think that this title would ever appear anywhere ever? Beautiful man has sex with his 13-year-old female student. Never. That would never happen. It could be the most attractive man in the world, and the article would still say, man molests student, whatever. It's not ever going to be like, glamorous man who's so beautiful and has a six-pack abs has sex with his female. No, it's only women. And here we are glamorizing a pedophile by literally calling her glamorous. It's fucking disgusting. Savannah Daisley, 45, charged with unlawful sex with teen. Unbelievable. She was criminally charged for having on whatever with a 14-year-old boy. Yep. And let's show her looking beautiful and smiling, because, what's the big deal, right? Striking a contrast with her jet-setting life as an Australian socialite. Unbelievable. Oh, yeah, show more oh, look how beautiful she is! Out in the sun with a big smile, cooking healthy food! Oh, she's such a great person because she's a woman. That's the only reason. The heiress was living a life of luxury up until her June 27th arrest on multiple charges of aggravated sexual assault of a minor. She is currently shacking up in a notorious Australian prison, but before that, Daisley lived in a $6 million home in Sydney Harbour. Daisley is the daughter of a successful house breeder while she worked in the wellness sector. Blobbity, blobbity, blah. You know what? I was actually going to read the details, but does it matter? Do I even care at this point? Whatever. The point is, no matter what the article says, even though there probably is some stuff in there I should have read, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, she's a pedophile, and we live in a society that quite literally glamorizes female pedophiles, and I'm disgusted by it. And the fact that the majority of society isn't disgusted by it says a lot of things, most of which I already knew, but regardless, this is the issue that needs to be talked about that nobody wants to talk about. And if I have to give some kind of a word out there to all of the male victims who are afraid to come out for a variety of reasons, such as being told that you're gay because you didn't enjoy being molested by a beautiful woman, or told that you should enjoy it because you're a man and all men have to enjoy sex no matter who does it and who is the receiver of it, or being told that you can't be raped because you're a man, therefore you shouldn't complain about it because it never happened in the first place just because you were born a man. Ignore all that fucking shit. If you were molested by anybody who is way too old and you're under 18, what happened to you, even if your friends give you a big high five and say, wasn't she hot? It doesn't fucking matter. Don't be afraid, and don't be shamed into coming out either. Come out about your fucking abuser. I understand how society treats all males these days, regardless of age, but you gotta try to fight back, because, for example, even though this article here is glamorizing her, she did go to prison, right? Yes, the article is glamorizing her, and probably like half of society did too. But she did go to jail, therefore you are not in a complete loss here. If anything has happened to anybody who has seen this video, don't hide. Reveal what happened and get justice for what happened. I can't force you to, but it's what you should do. Anyway, fucking hell, man.